Hi everyone, my name is Caden Miller, and I did my research on the monitoring and control techniques of Burmese pythons in the Everglades. So this is my poster, and I'll kind of take you through each section as I go through it. So just a little background, Burmese pythons have been reproducing in the Florida Everglades over the course of the last several decades. The environmental implications these snakes have on their surroundings makes them a large threat to the biodiversity in their South Florida habitat. Due to their elusive behaviors and the vastness of the Everglades habitat, no single capture control method has been found to be effective in finding and removing substantial amounts of these snakes. This makes it difficult to control the population of the species, along with getting accurate estimates of its population. Various new methods have been tested, such as attractant traps, the use of eDNA, and road cruising, though none have produced sufficient results to make an impact on the population. These snakes have cryptic patterning and long periods of inactivity, making them even more difficult to locate and capture. New methods or a combination of existing methods must be developed to increase the efficiency at which the species can be located and captured in large numbers in the Florida Everglades. So I went over a couple of the more commonly used ones and studied traps here. There are others, but these are the more frequently seen ones, except environmental DNA. But that's getting more and more developed, and more interest is growing around it. So I want to talk about it. But first, I'll take you through the attractant traps here. This is a trap, oftentimes an enclosed wire box. It's baited with an attractant of Burmese pythons, such as mice or rats. You'll find them on dry land, and they obviously have to be checked very frequently. That's a big con of them. Um, a pro though, they are cheap and simple to use, so anyone can really use them. But they can be placed anywhere, but you have to go out and check them, which I said is a big con, because they have live bait. And if you catch a live snake, you have to obviously check it before a few days so it doesn't die. This is what the traps look like down here. So they have been shown to work sometimes, but the Burmese pythons have been reluctant in taking the bait so far. Um, from there, I also take you through road cruising. This is the act of driving along roads through the species of interest range in hopes of spotting them from the vehicle. This so far has been the most commonly used method just because it's the easiest. You can cover the most ground, and it's much more convenient to be able to just drive down a road, see them crossing it, than having to go out through the harsh conditions of the Everglades, through the swamps, trying to find these big pythons. Um, it can be effective during the right times of year when the snakes are very active, and large amounts can be found on the road, but this only goes through the portions of the Everglades with roads. The snakes are obviously everywhere else in the Everglades where there aren't roads, so this will not have a large enough impact to solely take care of the problem. Now, environmental DNA, this is made up of the cells that have been shed off an individual into the environment, whose DNA can be tested and determine which species it came from. Samples often include skin shedding, fecal samples, water samples, things like that. Um, like I said, more interest has been growing in this, but there it has not been proven to be the most effective strategy yet in tracking them. Obviously, it doesn't catch them, but it tracks them. Um, the DNA degrades over time, can become unusual or unusable. I'm sorry. Can get cross contaminated, and it doesn't give exact locations of individuals in the area. It just shows if they're present or not. So that's kind of shown in this figure from the study that I cited here. You can see the eDNA showed that the snakes are present throughout the whole range. And when the eDNA detections, it's all constant, like it's either there or it's not. But you can see the actual Python numbers that are there, the captures, varied greatly throughout that range. So eDNA doesn't give you the whole picture. But I do think will have some use in the future here. So these are not all of the methods that have been used and tested before. Other methods, such as using dogs, public bounty hunts, or tracking males during the breeding season to lead researchers to large females with nests. These have all been tried and had some success, but just like the techniques I've gone over, they're a large constraint. So with working out in the Everglades and trying to find these snakes. So I believe the most money and resources should be utilized in the spring season when breeding activity is occurring, because this is when they're out there the most. You can find them the most, and they've been proven to be found the most out during these seasons. And then in the off season, we still should be going out and trying to catch them, but we need to focus our attention on developing more ways to better our techniques or develop even new ones. I think more studies should be done with eDNA. If we can find out more info from some of the DNA samples, such as like which individuals or sex or anything like that. It'll give us more info. We can better manage them. And I really believe that we can better our attracted traps. I believe that there has to be some sort of bait that will attract Burmese pythons into the trap. And we should look into maybe putting some type of poison or control method in the trap so that if the Burmese pythons go in there, they just stay in there and just get euthanized after a day. So I believe that's something that needs to be developed, and but we should definitely be looked at, and research should go into it. And here are some of the references that I've cited that I got some information from. So here is one last view of my whole poster. Feel free to ask me any questions, and thank you for your time.